Thank you all for coming. I have put a couple of pieces over there, a couple article things that you might want to read a little bit more in depth. I'm going to touch upon them, but if you want more info, please feel free to take a look. I also have our Massillon Museum propaganda. This is our quarterly calendar. So this gives you everything from now through the end of September. So it's a nice, convenient, long list of all the stuff. So please feel free to pick one up if you don't have one already. So I was very excited. Again, I have been keeping a big, nice, long list about what ones I covered in part 1 and part 2. Some of you did notice this is part 3. So if you missed the first 2, it's okay because it is recorded. It is available on the Massillon Public Library YouTube channel. So if you are interested in some of the other cool buildings of Massillon, there's much more information out there for you. So I'm going to take a look at just a few buildings a little bit in depth today for part 3. So away we go. Oh gosh, I'm going to forget the full-on acronym because I didn't write it down. Northern Ohio Traction and Light Company, which was the inner city rapid transit company, was here in Massillon. They had an 1892, what we always referred to as the streetcar barn. So this was an absolutely gorgeous 1890s, lovely place for all of the streetcars to come home, get maintained, be stored for the night. It was a massive operation. It stretched, all the track stretched across the city, from downtown over to Canton, out west, and south down Erie Street. I can see here there is one of those cars that has, oh, you can't see my mouse, that's unhelpful. This one says U.S. Mail. So the streetcars could be used for a variety of reasons. The tracks were, kind of usable by a variety of vehicles. Just to give you an idea how incorporated streetcars were by 1892, this is what our downtown looked like. We are at the corner of First Street, so we're like standing as if we stepped out of the museum and stood on Lincoln Way, and we're looking west. You can see how many streetcar tracks there are, which is why every time somebody digs something up from Lincoln Way as they're repaving, they find new streetcar track and they keep trying to donate it to us. But now we've got probably a mile of streetcar track in the collection, so we're good. Beautiful flags and decorations. I always love these kinds of views where they're clearly preparing for something. You may notice the wires across there, and the streetcars, that is how they pulled their power. And you can see that kind of in this photograph, there's like a little band off of there that would have connected to that power line that would have given it power to go down the street. So as you can see, these passenger ones are really nice. There's 2 of them put together. You could take a streetcar all by yourself, just going somewhere, or sometimes companies would actually commission the streetcar to take them places. Some of the great places you could visit by a streetcar were the cemetery. So that was a very beautiful area. You could come up near my neighborhood, near Sippo Park. This is the Santa Fe Ballpark, which is about at 16th and Lincoln Way on the east side today. It's all neighborhood, but it does kind of abut near what is now Sippo Park, but would have been just Sippo Creek and people's private property at the time. So a fun little ballpark. And there again, so here's one of the crossings. What I always think is interesting is to think of at the height of, railroad traffic and railroads moving our goods and services and people. There were various towers. There were people who could switch the tracks. You've got telegraph lines. So there was, a lot of transportation kind of colliding at some of these intersections throughout the city. One of the other places you could go by streetcar, they did have the line go all the way down to the state hospital. Some of those buildings still stand today, obviously not that many, but there are a few left there. The entryway to the state hospital is still in existence. It's kind of 2, they look like cute 1890s little entryways with like lanterns. So that kind of clues you in that you're heading back there. It's also the Erie Street Pub is right there at the entrance, and then Heartland Behavioral. But if you go further back and trespass a little bit, you can find some of the original buildings that still exist. Not that I've tried that. One of the other key things that the streetcar was able to take you to down near the state hospital, there was Sunnyside Field. So you could hop a streetcar to come to a Massillon Pro Tigers football game. Now, I always wonder to myself, when looking through old newspapers, there's always some story of so-and-so got run over by a streetcar, someone got hit by a streetcar, somebody got run over. Like, what chaos was happening? Are these just like terrible streetcar drivers? Are people terribly not careful? And then I started to find a lot of photos of just how many streetcars were active at one time. And you can see here, there's a guy down here with a hat and a briefcase. Like, he's not waiting for those to go by. He's gonna hop between those. So it seems like a wild west of jumping between cars and motorized vehicles and all of the things downtown. So I'm not surprised anymore why people often got hit by streetcars. And here's a different view. This would have been taken from the building that was there before, but essentially from the Massillon Museum looking west towards downtown. And you can just see how much foot traffic there was, how many streetcars there were. There was a lot going on. It's also a really great up-close view of these telegraph lines. So yeah, our downtown obviously looks quite different today. So there is a chunk of that streetcar track that they were kind enough during the 2019 streetscape. They cut it into a usable piece as opposed to the piece that they actually dug up, which is many, many feet long. They cut it down for us in a small chunk. So it's got that nice T shape, and as I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, people who know better, that the streetcar would actually just kind of like latch onto that and drive. Cool. All right. Nobody corrected me, so I assume that's correct. Sadly, the streetcar barn is burned to the ground in 1916, and apparently the loss was $75,000, which would be many hundreds of thousands of dollars today. So they did rebuild. And you can actually still see this building. I'm very, very excited about this. This eventually was taken over by Fidelity Bus when we moved away from streetcars and moved to buses and cars and kind of more personalized vehicles. So that is that building there. And if you are on your way to Target and you see the former shoe store there, back in the back, you can see a little drive, and lo and behold, the streetcar barn is still hanging out back there. So if you get up close to it, I love these people were very aware that Google was coming for Street View because they're waving, which is very cool. But it still exists back there. And if you're at the Target parking lot, there's kind of a drive that goes around the building, and you can actually still see then like the side of it as well. So the next time you're down shopping at Target, PetSmart, or Giant Eagle, take a look. Any questions on that before we go on?
Is that where that limousine company is now?
I think there was a limousine company there. Is it still?
The sign is still there.
Okay. I know it was like Fat Daddy Meats at some point in time. There was some sort of bowling or something. Okay. So limousine. Yes?
Sunnyside Field, was that just south of the expressway or just north of the expressway? Do you know? I mean, there's like a big gravel pit across the street. Is that where that?
Okay, so it's essentially where the gravel pit is, because we did do some research into exactly where that was, and based on the photo that showed like the streetcars, the field, and the very specific like state hospital buildings, it is where the gravel pit is. Because we were talking back in the day of like, how do we memorialize fields that the Tigers have played on, and like, it's now a gravel pit. So, yep.
How much was it to ride the streetcar?
Ooh, good question. Does anybody know?
Use the token. There were tokens, yeah. I don't know.
5 cents?
Not much. 5 cents sounds about right.
Well, John Tassif told me yesterday, and he's 90, that it was 5 cents for him to go one way from Columbia Heights to downtown to go to the Wesleyan Theater.
They used
So.
to advertise this. It was a lovely 19-minute ride from downtown to the Asylum Loop.
Okay.
That's what the hospital loop was.
And so that was the southernmost point, the Asylum Loop.
What went on, the streetcar went on through Yorksville and Denison.
So it still went down further?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Yorksville and Denison.
Okay.
My mom wrote it.
Ah, excellent. Yeah.
Is that the same as the interurban?
I think I'm using them interchangeably, yes. I think like streetcars, the NOTL, the interurban, they're all the same. Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law had her husband, my husband's dad, worked for the
Okay.
So he could go to his job in Brewster.
Okay.
Do you have a map of the whole streetcar line at the museum?
I think we do. I think we do. I will look that up.
When did the last one run?
I don't know, but I feel like you know the answer, Tom.
1940.
1940. Okay.
They claim that the streetcar came down, which direction, and pulled back into there, and at the same time, the bus was coming out.
Ah, a beautiful exchange of transportation.
I didn't realize it was that recent. 40, I thought it would have been way before.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not have guessed that. Interesting. Yes.
What was the popular name for the NOTL?
Never on time.
Lately.
Never on time lately.
Never on time lately.
Motor Ohio Traction and Light Company.
Yes.
NOTL, never on time lately. I've heard.
I've heard, yes. Well, I don't know if the last streetcar was 1940, Rudy, you wouldn't be on it, right?
That's true.
Okay. Oh, good. My font's got askew. Come on back. All right. Allman and Putman, just trust me, it's in there. Beehive store from 1871. So there was a really excellent block. If we're talking about the McClymonds building at Erie and Lincoln Way, there were several stores just west of that. This was the first iteration of those buildings and businesses. And there was Groceries and Provisions by H. Altercruise, Allman and Vetter, which eventually became Allman and Putman. They've got butter and eggs, so that's exciting. They also had clothing, dry goods. There were several dentists who had offices up in the top of those buildings. But sadly, the Beehive in its time experienced several fires, which I always think that they had to have stored their stuff just floor to ceiling, and there was no sprinkler system installed. So I'm going to read a small portion of the newspaper article that details. Here's the full thing, should you wish to read it. It is quite interesting, and of course the stories around it are also awesome. So the Beehive fire of November 8th, 1899, the damage may reach $250,000. Started in the Beehive. It spread with great rapidity and at one time threatened the destruction of the business portion of the city. The Canton Department is here. One of the most disastrous fires in the history of Massillon started in the Beehive building in West Main Street at 9 o'clock this morning, and in spite of the heroic efforts of the firemen to confine the flames, wiped out the entire 220-foot frontage of these business blocks, lying between Clay Street and Canal. The loss cannot now be given any reason certainty, but experienced people say the estimate is $230,000 would not be excessive. The fire originated in the east display window of the Beehive dry goods store. Frank Cleaver was attending to decorations here when he suddenly discovered that a large part of the bunting which had been draped was afire. How it originated, Mr. Cleaver will not venture to say. Okay? But in all probability, a live electric wire was responsible, which makes me scared that there were just live wires hanging out in storefronts. But all right, cool. Mr. Cleaver immediately called to the other clerks in the store while Ernest Bittner turned in an alarm from box number 33 on Clay Street, which would have sent a signal to the fire department. The flames spread with such rapidity through the millinery department, however, that all efforts to check them were unavailing. The employees were obliged to leave the building in haste after having rescued about $250 worth of stock. Cashier Perry McConaughey had the narrowest escape of the whole force, in devotion to his employer's interests. As soon as it became evident that the flames were beyond control, he hurried to his office to save the books and the money. Smart choice. After placing the books and looking the latter in the safe, he secured all the money, which was kept in tin boxes, and started to grope his way out of the building. Arriving in the front part of the store, he found that his means of retreat had been cut off by flames. Rushing to the rear, he attempted to pass through the rear window, only to find that the iron bars blocked his escape at this point. By this time, Mr. McConaughey was almost suffocated. Fellow clerks on the outside saw his frantic efforts to break the bars, and but for that timely assistance, he could not have retained his conscience much longer. William Paul, one of the force clerks, sustained a broken hand in his desperate attempts to wrest away a bar to allow Mr. McConaughey's escape. So hose company number 1 arrived on scene, and then the Canton Fire Department showed up, and essentially they were trying to keep it, obviously you can see it's pretty extensive, they were trying to keep it from then carrying on to all the other buildings. Because the whole of downtown had essentially burned to the ground in 1851 when we were just a bucket brigade, and so their efforts were to try and keep that contained. I will point out, because I was super excited to share with my coworker, that the Gleaner office is right here. I've always wondered where that office actually was. So it's the second story of this building that would be on kind of the end of the McClymonds building. And you've got the canal bridge right here. So the canal is going right underneath here, and there would have been a basin right behind this block where canal boats could pull off, unload, whatever canal boats do. Maybe they needed a rest. So sadly, the entire block was an entire loss. So this is the front side, and then this is the back side. So here is all of that fire here, and then this is the Morgenthaler mill that they were trying to save. So luckily, it sounds like they saved the mill, but there was some damage because there was like mill supplies in there, so hay and other combustible material. So, but here's that basin, the canal basin. So that's all water right there. So then, yeah, afterwards, so C.J. Duncan is also one of the businesses that was in this block. After that, they had to find a new home and eventually ended up on Lincoln Way. Let's see if there's any other exciting people on there. Nope, but I love their little clock sign out front, which is pretty nice. So combining two parts together with the streetcars and the beehive. Here is the beehive as they took their employees on a picnic, which I think is kind of cool. This is 1906. And again, so thinking about how this is the Moke company, so this is not the beehive, but thinking about how packed with fabric and combustible things, and if you have no means to get a sprinkler in there or to detect fire, like that's going to go up pretty darn quick. So they rebuilt, which is a good thing. So this was the building that they were in until their closure. And let's see, for reference, today this is Walgreens. So if you can place yourself in space and time. It started to get a little bit disrepair. I don't know, the 1970s always looks like a weird like patchwork of like really cool old buildings and then like modern like elements stuck on top, which are interesting. But it became the Darling Shop, which was a ladies' wear shop. And then along comes Bernie Green, and bless him, he renamed the McClymonds building the Massillon building. He invested to take this building down to put in Zips Hamburgers. And there's, we've got Sherlock Holmes Evans, Mayor Keene, Bernie Green, and I'm blanking on the fourth gentleman's name, but here they are kind of happily renaming the Massillon building and reinvesting some funds in some buildings that otherwise could have fallen into disrepair. So I will give him credit for that. And then he knew that we needed, a fun place for the kids to come. Yes, 15-cent hamburgers, as you can see, very, very great. So that took us through the 50s and the 60s until it became the First National Bank. And so on that same site where Zips Hamburgers was, in 1976, the First National Bank was built. It was a new, beautiful, modern facility. From above, you can see they've got a gorgeous skylight. It was a wonderful, wonderful skylight. What I like is that when you go through different categories of photos, you can kind of see, some other angles of a building, not just like, the publicity shot, but you can kind of see how people are interacting with the space at a parade or during a flood. So I thought this one was kind of nice to see that they were a part of the parade route. So there was a really cool patio out on the back, a stellar staircase underneath that big, beautiful glass dome. It was a gorgeous building. It reminded me very much of like the Stark County Library in my childhood. It like had that like 1970s library feel. Interesting fact, the Massillon Museum, when we were looking to separate from the library and go find our own home, this building was brought up as a possible place for us to have gone, which not great for the amount of light, but great in the amount of space. It would have been kind of awesome, but that's okay. That's okay. So there's that stairwell. Oh, and then you go into the offices, and I swear it's like it had never changed, had never been touched. Like, these are so cool, these panels in there. The table's still original from the 60s and 70s. So I did a Mad Men photo shoot. So I thought to myself, I need to do something with this building. Can I come shoot photos? And they're like, that's cool. So I got my friends together to do a Mad Men themed photo shoot. I brought some props in the back there. That's my spiky clock. That's one of my prized possessions. And then I got my friends to be the art department around those beautiful panels. I mean, you got to use the space before it goes, right? Like, it's just too cool not to. And then I did not give my friends any barriers as to what they could wear. So our dear friend David McDowell from Canton decided he was a Texas businessman there to see what we've come up with for his advertising. So, and of course there are portraits of bankers in the hallway, matching up perfectly, everybody on the nice staircase. And my favorite room of all, the saddest thing about this building going down, I have no idea where those beautiful brass sculptures went. So this whole beautiful wall was like the most massive, heavy, amazing thing. And the doors matched, which was so cool. And I asked him, I was like, can we have those? Can someone have those? Could they go anywhere but the landfill? And I could never get a straight answer. So I'm to this day not sure where they got to, but they just lend themselves to so many great moments. So, okay, so underneath the First National Bank was a time capsule. Now, it hadn't been very long since 1976. That's not a lot of time to have passed. So we pulled it out, but sadly, I don't think it was sealed all the way. So everything that we pulled out was like soggy and gross and moldy, and it was really not salvageable. So I did take pictures so that we could all see what was inside. There was like a membership list, and obviously like several banking newspapers from the date that they sealed up the thing, but none of it was really usable. So then along comes Walgreens, and they want to tear down the First National Bank, which I am very sad about. But the Historic Preservation Commission at least worked with them enough to be able to make it not a typical Walgreens or like a typical pharmacy building. They tried to make it blend in at least with the landscape around it. So best case scenario, at least something doesn't look out of place. So I know.
Were there issues with that building that they couldn't sell it, like asbestos or anything like that?
Beautiful building.
Not that I'm aware of.
Very well built.
I'm assuming it was just a monstrosity and it was big, and if you're Walgreens and you want to tailor it to yourself, it would have been more difficult than to just tear it down, which is, yeah. The rage of Mandy could move mountains. But there are very few buildings that, again, I'm going to like chain myself to save, and that was not, as much as I miss the First National Bank, that was not on my list of worth my life, so. Sorry. You want to see which one? It's the Abel Fletcher studio. It's the Abel Fletcher studio just behind Chase Bank. If that ever goes, I will stop it. That is not happening. You can't take an 1840s photo studio that was the birth of American photography and just take it out. So if I was alive at the time, I would have attempted to have saved Jack London's mother's residence on Lincoln Way. Before they tore that down. Anyways, can't go back in time. We have to move forward. All I can do is take pictures and tell you all about it. So, very begrudgingly. But at least I have photos, so that's the best I can do. Okay, so the Rohr barn raising photo is one of the most famous in our collection that has been used in a multitude of ways. It was raised, not raised with a Z, raised in 1888. And it was a fantastic kind of moment in time in the 1880s. If you were, building a barn, you got the whole community together. You've got the ladies baking pies. Everybody's fed all day, and you all work together to make this building happen. Yes?
Whereabouts was it located, you know?
So it was on the Shady Hollow golf course. And what I'm very excited to say is that we have a photo of it finished, because for years I've seen this photo and I'm like, and what did it look like after they built it? But then I finally found one of the Shady Hollow Golf Club. So they used it as the clubhouse before taking it down and obviously replacing it. But this was it in the 1920s. So this is what the Rohr barn looked like after it was built. Yes, right? It's so exciting. Okay, I'll wait for you to take your picture, Bonnie. Thanks. So because this poster gives us, teamwork and helping out, the government contacted us and asked if they could use it for a poster in the 1980s for a stamp campaign trying to encourage volunteerism. So there are a lot of these really cool volunteerism posters with our photograph on it, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I do not. I was going to say that's John Clausen on the right, and then on the left, I'm not sure. He might be like a representative of the Postal Service who is coming to deliver the poster. Yep. So other cool things that we've done with the Rohr barn raising. This is a book by Walter Tyler. He is an actual descendant of Jacob and Anna Rohr, and he wanted a good way to explain to his kids how the barn was built. So if you're interested, we do have, I believe, still these books at the museum. Okay. If not, they're available online. It's a really cool, cute read. It's got a lot of, activities to identify different tools you would use and how you would go about actually constructing a barn. So I was super excited. We did get to bring him here in 2019. And we took some pages from his book, and we actually had a little interactive where you could move the people around on the decal. And then he delivered a presentation here at the library, of which I dragged my poor 6-month-old child to come and hear about barns of Massillon. So, yeah.
Yeah, Jacob and Anna Rohr are my great-great-grandparents.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you knew this, but they were the first couple married at St. Mary's Church.
Ah.
It was dedicated.
Very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you know Walter Tyler?
No.
Okay. I know he's kind of, his family is now kind of based in New York, upper New York, so. Okay. That's so cool, David. I didn't know that. Thanks. Cool. Any questions on the Rohr barn? Okie dokie. All right, I think this is my, yeah.
I think the guy in the picture next, along with John, might have been the postmaster of Massillon, Lowell Roland, does that ring a bell?
Unfortunately, someone didn't write the identifications on the back of that one.
Ask another old person. Yeah, Tom, is that him?
You're right, yeah, this is postmaster.
Between Tom and Rudy, we've got it all figured out. Perfect.
300 years.
You invented the streetcar, right? All right, and if I'm not, okay, so then this is my last building. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Like, again, if I were to go back in time, like I would love to visit it in, I don't know, the 1860s, somewhere around there. That would be really, really cool. This is a really cool shot. In 1938, the Chamber of Commerce went through, they hired a company to go through all of downtown Massillon and shoot every block. So we have a beautiful snapshot of 1938 for the whole downtown. So if you're ever interested, it's available through our online archives. So if you go to our massillonmuseum.org website, virtual archives, it's on there. There's like 30,000 things you can flip through. So just a few. It'll keep you busy for a while. So back in the 1840s, 1830s, kind of, after the canal opened up in 1828, there was the American House Hotel, and that was essentially where the Conrad was eventually. This was lost in that same fire that took out the downtown block in the 1850s, so then they had to rebuild. I'll wait for Bonnie to snap her photo. If you want, I can send you this. I can send any of you all of this if you would like. It's okay. It's not private. So then the American Hotel rebuilt, a lot bigger, a lot more epic, and pretty sizable on that block. So this is at First Street East and Lincoln Way. So like right across from the museum where you and I park every morning. So this is a daguerreotype by Abel Fletcher. So this sadly resides not in our community. It resides in Los Angeles at the Seaver Center for Western History. Abel Fletcher's daughter eventually settled in LA. And so when she was ready to donate her father's photography and things, there was no Massillon Museum just yet. So it was like 1926. So she did pull out her photos in 1926 for our centennial. So we got copies of them, but we don't have the originals. So a copy is better than nothing at all. I'm perfectly happy to have a copy of the daguerreotype. So after a while, it became apparent they needed more space, so they did actually expand, and it got renamed a couple of different things. So it was the American House, the Park Hotel, the Conrad, many, many different ones. I love this one because you can see on the porch there, she's got a kind of poofed out skirt. So I'm thinking somewhere in the 1860s is this photograph. Everybody posing out front. You've got the post office there. So the post office is in the hotel because there was no post office proper just yet. And then on the far left is Joseph Coleman's jewelry store. So again, it expanded even more and continued on and took up essentially the entirety of that block. There are many, many businesses in there. There was a barber shop at one point on the side. There were clothing stores. There were cigars, news, and candy. You name it, there was some version of that in it over time. Now, there were very few photographs inside the Conrad Hotel. That's something that always frustrates me about building history, is that there's no interior photos. It's typically this, where it's a postcard. We want to show off our building. So when we can see inside, that makes me extremely happy. So this is what the Conrad Hotel looked like in 1899. This is part of the Independent. They did a souvenir edition that I printed out a page from if you want to read more about the Hotel Conrad in 1899. So some pretty sweet stairs, some really great pillars.
Was there an elevator?
Not at that, no, I don't believe so.
Do we know what significance the name Conrad is?
There were several Conrads in here. There was one that was a state senator, I believe. There was a hardware store named Conrad. One of the buildings that came down in 2023 had Conrad above it, S.A. Conrad and Company. So I'm not sure like which specific Conrad it was named after, but yeah. So this is a newspaper negative from the Independent. I still haven't found the article that it goes with, but there's the front desk staff circa 1965. And there's that really great 1938 view. So by this point in time, 1938, we've got the Circle Bar. We've got Reliable Office Supply Company. And if you can see right here, this sign, this will come into play in just a couple minutes. Why did I take that picture? Oh, this is the side. Okay, so this is the side of the Conrad. If you were coming down First Street, this is all the Conrad Hotel. So again, it's stretched on for a good chunk of time. I can't read any of the businesses, but I do see a barber shop pole. So somewhere in there was a barber shop. So as the Hotel Conrad aged, people really wanted to replace it. So they actually started to talk about where Shearer's is today, building a brand new like skyscraper hotel. It was going to be called General Jacob Coxey's Hotel, and it was going to be named after him. Isn't this great? This is the 1920s or so. They wanted to get in a whole new hotel. It seems like the efforts fizzled and nothing ever really came of it. So they put some funds instead into rehabbing and improving the Hotel Conrad. So then we have architectural renderings of some of the options that they worked on to kind of give it a more modern feel by the 1930s and 40s. And let's see, we've got coffee, we've got hats. There were some millineries in there. lunches, so some restaurants and apparel. So kind of cool facade changes. And then you can see that there is a millinery there. It's like a weird sign pasted on a different sign. It's kind of interesting to see how, again, those like weird, more modern places are kind of like just slapped onto old building. Yes?
What era would that be?
This photo here, 1976. Based mostly on the car. Yes, Sarah.
You just said a barber a couple minutes ago.
Yes.
Does that have to be Frank Slicker's barber?
I don't know where his barbershop is. Do you know for a fact it is?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay. I don't know, but he was the oldest barber in Massillon at one point.
What was his name?
Frank Slicker. He was a barber.
When was he the oldest?
1955 was when he was in the paper as being the oldest barber in Massillon.
You know, Bob Hill was the oldest until a few years ago.
Yes, he was. Yes. I did get to interview him, so I have his stories and his photographs, so I've got him saved.
The barber shop was, in the end, was a vacant storeroom, coming off the back way, coming up. Then you had Berner's Restaurant.
Oh, that's right,
Then
Berners.
you had Tom Coyne Florist. Then Pitco Jewelry. Then a shoe store. Yeah.
I forgot about Berners. Great point. And they were cigars, right?
Peaster's Sewing Store.
Oh.
That was on the corner.
Wow, that's an unfortunate
That was on the
name.
corner where the lobby had been.
Okay.
That's in there.
Okay. Yes, Tom.
I came across an article, I have no idea where, I have the notes on it somewhere.
Okay.
Back, I think just prior to the Civil War regarding barbershop,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the barbers that actually cut men's hair were black.
Mm-hmm.
And after the Civil War, they have straight razors in their hands, and the white gentleman got apprehensive and started not going to the barber shops, and that's why there were so many beards.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true or not either. Yeah.
I read
Interesting.
that in some article I came across.
I'm just terrified. Yeah, I'm terrified about any of those like blade shaves. Like, no. I'm good.
People's Federal Bank was in there too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, that I
I think
didn't.
it's right next to the Edge Mill there. Wasn't that it? People's Federal?
I can't
What is it, across the street?
I don't know. State Bank was across the street.
It wasn't,
People's Federal.
where was People's Merchant? What was that one? How was that?
That was the Duncan High Rise was People's Federal. Your building. It's your building now. All right. Well, Tommy, I assume you can fill in some details then on the demise of the Conrad Hotel.
November 1983. I don't remember the exact date.
Okay.
Yes. 11:30 in the evening.
Okay.
All night. All night.
And it was a fire set in the stairwell.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
There was, of course, we had vacated the upper floors sometime before, but it turned out it was not used as a hotel. People rented rooms and were actually living there.
Okay.
And so we had, because of the condition of the building, and so we had made them vacate the upper floors. Well, somebody had went in the back way and pulled a bunch of mattresses and stuff down and put them in the stairwell and lit them on fire. And of course,
that? Was it Clark? Yes. Clark, yes. First name, Bob? David. David,
no,
your cousin?
there wasn't. I got me thinking. It got me thinking. I don't think I could have been.
So when he pulled the mattresses into the stairwell and lit the fire, did that hamper anybody getting out safely, or was it just one of the stairwell? Okay.
We'd already vacated it, you know.
Okay.
And being 11 o'clock at night, I don't recall anybody even being in any of the storefronts.
Okay.
But of course, you know, how fire spreads up.
Right.
And by the time by the way, the stairwell was in the rear of the building too.
So nobody would have seen it. It was on the back, and it would have pushed
Pretty
forward.
good headway. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 83, November.
Mike?
Was that Hal Sporting's Goods in that block?
No, he was over on Erie Street,
One block.
Yeah.
where the Alibi Bar is now.
Okay.
That's where
Hey, Tom, where were you when that picture was taken right there? You
I
know?
don't know, I can't say, I don't have any idea. Probably more on on the First Street side, I think.
Were you chief then?
Yes? Yes.
Very cool.
They took it down then.
Yeah.
Parking lot.
Joni Mitchell had it correct, yes. So that block today is now a Nobi statue. So we do have some pieces from the Conrad Hotel, so I'm looking next year to hopefully sneak those in somehow. We do have some keys from the collection, and then that sign that I pointed out, that was in fact salvaged. We also have a bed from 1882 from the Conrad Hotel that someone donated a couple years ago. So again, little bits and pieces that we can to preserve a thing that we remember, to preserve a place that we remember that no longer exists. So that is my presentation. Any other random questions, suggestions for other buildings I need to talk about?
A lot of questions.
Yes.
I have some things to give away to anybody that would like to have it. This is the, they used to have, you said streetcar used to go by the
Mm-hmm.
Massillon Mental Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I have these, they're not
Oh.
local, but if anybody would like to have them, I'd be happy to give them.
That looks amazing.
Randy, get on.
I know. How do I tackle over Margaret? This could get bad. That's awesome. Rudy.
I like you mentioned the basin off of the canal.
Yeah.
Behind those stores. That was kind of the alleys of the day. The stores filled their, off the canal goes into the backs of those stores. You can see that pretty good on a map.
Yes.
Which I never really knew that before. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, those tiny little like alleys, and some of them still exist, like, the where you'd put your trash or where you'd walk or bike through. But yeah, clearly not built for a modern day car to get back there. But that's my goal for a video, to show people where the canal was specifically, because there are those basins. The Port of Massillon's right outside of Cosmo's restaurant, like it's right here everywhere. Yeah, Jim.
Massillon used to have a gunsmith, Joshua Clute. He made percussion caps, muzzle loaders in various calibers in 1858 to 1865, and then he became a game warden in Stark County. And after that, he might have been a preacher. But I got several of his rifles. They're marked on top of the barrel.
We have some.
J. Clute, Massillon, big money.
Very, very cool. Yes, we have a couple in the collection. I think the one that we specifically went after was the tiger maple, of course, for obvious football reasons. So, yeah.
The ones you've got don't shoot.
They don't shoot? That's okay. I don't want them to shoot.
They're actually junk.
Okay.
Parts.
But they look pretty, so.
Mine shoot.
Okay, all right, good to know. If we ever need to shoot one, we'll call you up. Yes.
In the Massillon Dig, like coffee table history, I don't know the name of the lady that compiled it.
Margie Vogt?
About,
Mm-hmm.
my great aunt is pictured stepping off of the trolley.
Minnie Biscup. Minnie Biscup?
That's it, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was such a good photo. That was such a good photo. She seemed like a hoot. She had a millinery shop, and she just, yeah. She looked really interesting. I would like to go, again, let's go back in time and we'll hang out with Minnie, hang out at the millinery shop. That would be amazing.
You were not supposed to show your ankle, though, and she was showing her ankle.
This is true. That's why we don't often show it, because we can't risk offending the public. All right, any other buildings that I should cover? Anybody thinking of anything? Mike?
One up on 11th and Lincoln Way.
11th and Lincoln Way, what's that?
Speedway.
Ah, yes. So there was a whole wonderful church program and school program that I know the genealogy group has put together. So I tried to steer out of their territory so that I didn't duplicate.
We started the series. The first one we did was, I mean, we were still doing online programming because of COVID. And like Margie did one, and I'm trying to think, there were different. Hardy. Yes.
Okay.
So,
St. Joe's and Carol, our treasurer.
Right. And I think that's still on YouTube, I think. And then Roz did schools. She did that one on the schools. And then we had another one where we did like the state hospital, the opera house. What else was on that one, Roz? Trying to remember. But yeah, we had 3 before Mandy took over. And the last 3 have been Mandy.
Hey. Thanks for letting me tell you about my favorites. Oh, okay. So that is the #1 question. Our poor front desk staff keep getting calls about what on earth is the building on the front of the quarterly calendar. So, yes, if you could you grab me another one? Okay. So if you are ever looking at the quarterly calendar and you're like, dude, what is that building? On the inside panel, we do put, I know it's tiny, bust out your reading glasses, but there is an actual like credit line. Now, obviously this doesn't give the full story because Margie gives me like minute space, but this is Oak Park School. It was later renamed Emerson Elementary, and then later replaced with the most recent Emerson Elementary that was built in 1939 as part of a WPA project that matched York and Whittier. I do have one photograph on I think it's the inside of this one or Franklin, like the old building, that had like a little atrium. There was like a little like fountain in the middle. So, yes. So I'm glad that we stumped you all with this one. We were very excited that you were all so excited to learn more about this particular photograph. So
I had to create a fact sheet because we were getting phone calls. So I took a picture, I got a few little facts and put it on there, put them out, and they were gone like.
So now we have to come up with the next great thing, guys, as to what we're going to feature.
See what makes the library's phone ring off.
Yes. I love keeping you busy.
Emerson, we know it was a 3rd school.
Oh, the 3rd school. Oh, yes. Surprise. Haha. Yes, Tom.
Where's the Massillon Union School located?
So where the Salvation Army is today. So let's go back in time. So we're at Salvation Army, like right behind the Women's Club at that like big giant Salvation Army. Prior to that, it was Longfellow School, junior high. Okay. Prior to that, it was North Street School, the one with all the big spires that's like the most epic, gorgeous. And then before North Street was Union. So Union was kind of a boring 1840s, just like longhouse. Then North Street was like, the 1870s are here. There's spikes and towers. And then we went to more traditional 1920s. Cool.
Longfellow was the 3rd school on that site also.
Yep,
Right?
you're correct. Yep.
Are you documenting the new school before they're open?
Great question. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up, Mike. We are, I have gone through with a few helpful volunteers to photograph the 3 elementary schools that are going to be taken down, Gorell, Franklin, Whittier. I have talked to the administration. We've gotten some class photos, PTA scrapbooks, yearbooks, as much as we can so it doesn't disappear. So if there's anybody who's like desperately looking for a photo of a teacher or a class photo, please contact us. I'd be happy to help if I can. And then I have not photographed the new elementary schools yet, but my son will be at the east one, so I'll just go in and take photos and wander away from the group eventually. So again, trespassing, but for history. So the good kind. Sarah.
I don't know if this has been on any of yours yet, where City Hall is. I would like to know more about that building.
The one you're currently in?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've covered it yet, but yeah, that's got it's a cool building and then turned into a weird building and then it got weirder and awesomer. I was gonna say Rudy might have some good info, photos.
Yeah, they're ugly.
But yes, I have literally like a ginormous archive about that building. So yeah. Russ.
Margie, is she doing anything with the 4th Street tours anymore?
I want to say she was doing a cemetery tour this fall. We talked about, because next year's our bicentennial for Massillon, possibility of that. Are you specifically interested in a 4th Street tour?
Well, I've had them, and I used to live on 4th Street,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thinking that, you know, you're doing a program, and if something could be put together for posterity while Marty's still around, if she could do something, and it could be on YouTube, that would be really fun. I know people always are asking about 4th Street.
Mm-hmm. Well, part 1, there is a book that she wrote, so there is a lot of info and great photographs. 2, I followed her around as her understudy, and I've recorded each one of the walking tours she's given so that I could give them too. So then when she's not available or she doesn't want to, I've got it. So we've got cemetery, downtown, 4th Street. I think she does a specific Veterans Day one that is downtown.
There was one
And I think
that
that's
she
it.
did, with Rudy. What was that one you guys did? That was a short walk on. You guys went down. It's on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, we went down 4th Street.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Things on that.
Excellent.
Rudy did a couple.
Underground businesses in Massillon.
That would be awesome. I learned about a couple of new ones this week, so.
Barbershops that have the entrances
Mm-hmm.
all the way down the steps to the basement.
Yes.
There's been several of those types of things.
Actually, if you want to see an exciting one that you're about to fall into, at the corner of Erie and Lincoln Way, where the most recent building got torn down, there's a cave-in on the sidewalk that's shockingly right where the barbershop entrance is. So, boom. Investigate at your own risk. I did not tell you to go step on it, but go look at it from afar, a safe distance. Yes?
Have you done anything on Lieberman Bakery?
I have not done anything specifically on Lieberman Bakery, but I have worked with the family to scan photographs and preserve memories and articles. So, yes.
That's been there a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good one. Let me write that down. Lieberman's.
What about, do you ever do anything detailed as Old City Hall, any interior photos?
Oh yeah, I do have. That's actually good. Okay, Old City Hall. Duncan Mill. Okay. I have not done library. I don't think we've done library museum specific. I did a 90th anniversary of the museum that like involves, you know, us being a part of it, kind of the early days.
I have a tour that I give in the fall on the Duncan Baldwin House, which has the history of the library and all of that. And I'll be doing that again this year. Might even be on that sign over there.
Let's see.
When it was scheduled for. And I have a notebook up in the department
Nope.
of all the research I've done on the house and the people who've lived in it. It's a 3-ring binder that's up in the local history genealogy room that you can look at. It's got floor plans, it's got city directories, it's got maps, documenting as much as I could about the house.
It's you and I texting at midnight. Oh my gosh, look at this other photo. There's a building back there.
And I have texted late at night before. We did record something on the house, but
We did.
It's still got to be edited, I believe, before it can be
Yes.
released. She and I having a conversation about the history of the building and the Duncans.
Yep.
Yep.
There was a question over here.
Oh, question over there. Hello.
Hello, we've inquisitive on buildings, I'm throwing one out. On Pearl Street, there's an old school that's closed down.
Yes.
And we walk by all the time, and I so want to see inside of it.
Edwin A. Jones. Edwin A. Jones, flower of the city.
I knew it, you felt like it was special.
Rudy, did you teach there or did you teach at Franklin?
Franklin.
Okay.
But my brother-in-law has passed away, went to Jones, and they used to sing, E.A. Jones, flower of the city, E.A. Jones, school we love the best.
Aww.
Was that 1 through 9 or just junior high?
It varied. When I went there, it was junior high, but they did have a grade school in there one time. And then we lived on Columbia Heights, but they kept changing the boundaries. So half my family went to Jones, half went to L.A.
Mike.
You said Columbia Heights, you need to do Venice.
Venice, good call.
And the notorious affairs that went on.
The secrets of the Heights. I don't know how salacious we can get on your YouTube channel.
Not until
All right, well, if you think of any after today, please feel free to email me at the museum or stop by. We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 9:30 to 5, and Sunday 2 to 5. So thank you all for having me.